afternoon, South Africa, and a very warm welcome to you. My name is Jeannie D, and this is Afternoon Express. So I wasn't on the show yesterday because I had the most exciting day where I flew to Johannesburg to interview the absolutely delicious Antonio Banderas, who is here in South Africa, celebrating his new perfume and a whole amazing art collection to raise awareness for HIV/AIDS. Now, today's show is going to be so amazing because we're gearing up towards Heritage Day this weekend. Now, today we celebrate South African artists who are doing us proud. Speaking of, just this week it was revealed that iconic Ndebele artist Esther Mahlangu has been honored with a painting in New York on a boulevard in the famous Tribeca neighborhood. Now, she's been painting traditional artwork for 70 years and is still going strong. So, we can only send her so much love and commendation. Now, today we're joined by another renowned South African artist, Blessing Ngobeni, whose work has been compared to the likes of Picasso, Basquiat, and Norman Catherine. Then later in the show, we have SAMA award-winning hip-hop star Sjava, and you may remember he arrived at the awards this year dressed in a very traditional Zulu outfit. On the note of art, join the conversation on social media, where we're asking, from writing to exercise to meditation, which practices have helped you through tough times? Tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express, or comment on our Facebook page.
Good afternoon, South Africa. I'm Bonnie Mbuli. Welcome our celebrity guest chefs today, Sue and Alan. How are you doing, love?
I'm doing well. How are you doing, love?
I'm very well. Good. I'm very excited about all that I'm seeing. I mean, speaking of Heritage Day, there's nothing that contributes to South African heritage like Super M. And what are we going to make today?
So we are going to be making a Clover Super M Monster Triple Threat milkshake. So, yum.
Absolutely, yum. Can't wait. Now, our first guest today, Blessing Ngobeni, has lived a very colorful life, to say the least. His journey started in Limpopo, where he ran away from an abusive uncle to go and live in the bushes. After moving back to Dunedin with his mom, he ran away from home again to the streets of Alex Township. He ended up in prison, where he developed a passion for art, and since then, he never looked back. And today, he stands out as one of South Africa's most celebrated award-winning artists.
I'm so grateful that today we get to start the show with an incredibly inspiring story from a young man who's managed to make art his medium of healing. And also, when Mail and Guardian name you one of the top 200 young South Africans to keep a lookout for, it's a story to be shared. Blessing Ngobeni, welcome to Afternoon Express.
Thank you, Daniela, for having me.
Sure. So let's first start at the end and then make our way all the way back to the beginning. You have got some of your artworks in some of the biggest galleries around the world and have just been recognized, obviously, by receiving your award. Tell us more.
First of all, I would say that at the beginning of my life, it was very tense life, you know, as a young boy without having a full support from both parents, you know, because I myself, as I was growing up, I had more of being raised with a single parent, you know. So my mom, she tended to neglect me at some point, not neglect per se, but she needed a new life with a new boyfriend, should I say, which is my stepfather today. So by that time, for me, I did not know what was it exactly to live a life without the father, you know. But because of that reason, she took me to stay with my uncle, who then abused me. For instance, my uncle wanted me to look after his cattle more than me going to school, all this and that. Each time, whenever we were doing, maybe we'll milking cows, he would, if the cow would kick the bucket of milk, he would beat me, not the cow, because it's the cow that beat, you know. So for me, it was more of not understanding what exactly the life of a single person alone at the very early age, very young. I think I was very young that time. I was like almost 6 years upwards, you know.
So 6 years old, you were living with your uncle already at that stage.
At that
Mom
stage.
had gone to go live with her new boyfriend, and he then started to abuse you. And then what?
Because of that reason, then I moved away. I moved away from his home to stay in the bush.
At 6 years old?
Yes, at 6 years old. And then after 2 years from that period, I realized that there's no way that my life could be, you know, in this till forever. Luckily, my mom, she came back to look for me, but that time my life was very like bushy kind of, so I was no longer trusting humans, so I was staying like in the bush for almost those years, surviving from stealing or this and that.
Let's not brush over that, because I think it's very important to understand. I mean, 2 years as a 6-year-old boy living in the bush just to run away from a household where most 6-year-old boys are so reliant on their families to keep them alive and keep them afloat. What is life like in the bush at that age?
I think basically is to adapt to that space that you happen to be in, you know, and try to also move away from fearing the dark, because it's more rural than the city where there's lights and the stuff, you know. So it's like you tend to adopt to listen to owls at night and listen to hyenas, all this and that at night, because it's how the life should be like at some point.
Where did you find food? Where did you find community?
Basically, in rural areas, they do farming, you know, so you would go and steal a watermelon in your neighbor's farm, or, yeah, something to keep your life up.
Sure.
And, so.
Okay. And then your mom came back, and then she said she tried to look for you, and she found you eventually. How did she find you, and what was that reunion like?
Basically, most people, they used to see me going to a nearby river where, you know, in the noon I go and spend time, you know, swimming and, you know, drinking water whatsoever, like an animal life, you know. Then one of the day, then I heard the voice shouting, hey, hey, whatever, you know, from her. It was her and one of my uncle who was also looking for me, you know, with her. So it was more of like, when I heard the voice, I did not believe, but I ran away still. And then after recognizing her voice, then I tend to understand, no, that should be my mom, you know, something like that. Then, yeah, that's how we kind of reunited.
And then you met her new, was then husband, I'd imagine. They'd got married at that point. And then the three of you moved over to Alexandra.
No, we moved over. It was then in Bushbuckridge. We moved to Tzaneen, where she was married to this other, which is my stepfather still. Then that time I did not trust a man, because my uncle abused me so much that I could not even trust any person close to me, even though he tried to, you know, to be friend with me, whatever, or something like that. But I realized that still I could not find peace within myself. Then that's where I moved from her place to Tzaneen town, where I lived as a street kid still with friends. You know, there at least the life was much more better, because there were a lot of
people around,
and food around, so you would like survive. I mean, pushing stroll there and there, you know, something like that. Up until one of the days in 1995, where we thought of, me and my friend, like, you know what, this is time for us to move up, you know, but not knowing where we're going, you know.
And so ended up in Alexandra. Is that where you two ended up in Alexandra?
Yeah, that's how we hiked the trucks that transport food from, you know, tomatoes and mangoes to the city here. So that's how we ended up being in Alexandra.
I work with a lot of street people in the Western Cape, and I found that life there is so challenging, especially for young people, because of the lack of opportunities, the lack of community, the lack of resources. You found yourself in a community of young kids who were, you know, going around doing what you needed to do. You needed to steal to get food, you needed to steal to kind of survive, you needed to get blankets, you were fighting against each other's other little communities. And so that process led you to prison, which is where the artist was born in you.
Yeah, during my time in Alexandra, I stayed in Marlborough and with friends. Like, I got a lot of friends there, which then some of my friends were advanced. They were just, you know, having fun with, just want to be naughty. So some of them, they're a bit older, so they had guns and the stuff. So that's where all things, the prisoner things came to affect my
your life. But you were 10 years old, I think, at that point, and then you were in prison as a 10-year-old boy for like 9 years?
No. In Alexandra, I stayed another 3 years as a street kid. That's where I started to understand all the route there and there, you know. Getting introduced to these other guys, and I was the young, bravest one who would do anything to survive. So that's where perhaps the nature wanted me to end up in that space where I can recognize things and realize my life, So
amazing. Sure. There's so much to unpack with us on Afternoon Express today. Our incredibly inspiring guest, Blessing, joins us after the break to share more of the stories of how that journey from prison to being recognized internationally for his art happened. So stay right where you are.
Made with love by Clover. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now things are going to get way sweeter in this kitchen. In the mood for a tasty treat? Well, it's time to hashtag just chill on Afternoon Express with a delicious moment between the madness as we create a larger than life Super M triple threat monster milkshake with their fun and delightful chocolate, strawberry and banana flavors. Now forget about feeling guilty because the Super M triple threat monster milkshake deserves your attention right now. I mean, just look at some of those things. This is insane. We need one of those really big straws. So, how do we get started?
So, we're going to get started by adding our ice cream to our jug. We're using banana, chocolate, strawberry today. There is also cream soda available, but these make a perfect flavor pairing. So, this is what we're going to be working with today. And I love the new trendy packaging. And if you do find that this becomes your favorite summer treat, they actually make them in 1 liter bottles as well.
Really?
Just in case you need it.
And I love the lid even says, shake it up. Let's have a little taste.
So we are shaking it up. We're keeping it colourful in the kitchen
today. Delicious.
So this is really simple. You literally are just going to layer it. You're going to pour this in It goes in the fridge for a little while. It's looking a little bit unicorny and magic-y, which I think
love
is also
magic
cool.
unicorns.
And one of my favorite things about this, you know, you're saying summer's coming. You don't have to worry about too much of the guilt. It's actually got a lot less sugar than all of the other standard flavored milks out there. So this is, I mean, you can do what you want. So Jeannie, feel free to get involved.
So what kind of things have you brought here? I mean, are these all like garnishes?
We've got strawberry whirls, we've got chocolate dripped strawberries, stroopwafels. I mean, you always want to have a bite of those. And then we've also layered some bananas into this and some chocolate. So it's, you can play, the kids can play. I really do think it's as good for adults as a little song about my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. And this is kind of what we're rolling with today.
Right, it's better than yours. Like a teacher, but I'd have to charge.
Okay, so you know all of it.
Yeah.
So this was me teaching you it. I'm not even going to charge Jeannie. So simple, triple threat monster milkshake.
Okay, I tell you what, come, let's do a little Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, my word. Okay, it's good.
So
it's good.
Ridiculously delicious.
Moorish.
Well, now I can have this one and you can have that one.
Okay,
yourself.
perfect.
Thank you so
Thanks,
much.
honey. Pleasure.
Okay, that is really, really, really good. And of course, if you want all of the details of how we made this fantastic, super monstrous milkshake, all you need to do is SMS the keyword Clover to 33650. And if you want to fill in on how to make this yummy thing, here's a quick recap. It's a And who's a little happy unicorn right now? Oh, I'm in my element. After the break, we sit down with another South African artist who celebrates his heritage through his music. It's summer-winning hip-hop artist, Sjava. And we'll be right back after this. Made with Love by Clover.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express live on SABC3. As we continue gearing up towards the Heritage Day this weekend, our next guest is one of the rising stars on the local hip-hop scene who represents his mother tongue in his lyrics. Born and raised in the small town of Bergville, KZN, his debut album won a Sama this year for Best Produced Album, and he made quite an impact when he rocked up at the awards in traditional Zulu dress. It's Sjava.
How could it let you go and how could it let you go back that way in
Sjava, welcome to Afternoon Express.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Thank you so much.
You know, when I heard your name and when I was trying to pronounce it, what it reminded me of is that, I don't know if maybe it's just me, but that, Mr. Lover, babe, Sjava.
Mr. Lover, man. So many people don't know that you started out acting on Zone 14, but how it came about is quite a peculiar story. It wasn't even something you set out to do. Tell us the story.
Wow. What actually happened is they told me that Izo is coming back. Mrs. Songjo Izo is coming back and there's going to be auditions at BOM. So I was like, wow, this is my opportunity because Izo was known for my soundtrack. They had amazing soundtracks that had Abomandoza, you know what I mean? Yes. So I was like, wow, this is an opportunity. So Sahambek Seni got there. Sis Mavis Kanyo was doing the casting. Mavis Kanyo doing the casting. So I figured saying, but then I think around about 6. But I end up again, we audition, I think around about 4.
You were just waiting the entire day?
Yeah, it was packed because it was open auditions and they wanted a soccer team, you know what I mean, Tagabo. So when I got the audition room, I told them, no, me, I'm not here for acting. The reason why I'm here, then I keep it demo. And then I gave it to her. She was like, nah, but this is not Yizo, and there's no music on this. This is called Zone 14. It's about soccer. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And she's like, but Dalulindile, you know what I mean? So I want gain, you know. I was like, but nah, I'm not an actor, you know. She's like, no, give it a try. And then she told me what to do. First time I saw the script, first time I heard that word, first time I heard the word audition, you know what I mean? So I did that. And then after 2 weeks, I got a call from a poem telling me that I got the part, but obviously, I thought it was my friends, Bangler, you know, because everyone was laughing at me that I was auditioning for acting, because they knew me as Umundo Music, you know. So I didn't take it serious. I dropped the call. I'm like, hey, whoever you are, I don't have time for this. Until Engers called me, you know, Engers Gibson. Then that's when I understood. Then they taught me, okay, this is the script, this is how it works. And then I sat down, I was like, hey, maybe this is where God wants me to be, Njengamanj, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I took it serious. Tony Khoroge used to shout at me all the time and say, yo, you have potential in this thing, so please take it serious. You can actually go far. You know, so I started taking it serious, and then music, but I was still writing. And then it got to a point where I felt like, hey, but at the end of the day, I'm a musician, and that's what I do, you know. And then I decided to take a pause on that and just go back and do my music. Obviously, everyone said it's not going to happen anymore because of the age. I forced us home, I live this thing. It's not going to work.
I heard about that. I heard that, like, even your girlfriend that you had at the time was just so not supportive, and she didn't believe in you making it.
Did you say not
one? She actually broke up with you.
Yeah.
He said not one.
Oh, there were
that never believed.
So a few girlfriends.
Not at the same time, yo.
Are they trying to phone you now, going, hey, by the way, baby, let's maybe rekindle?
The pride will never let them dial the number. You know what I mean? There's pride, because now you know you told this person this thing's not going to work, the next thing it's working out. But then in all, I think the main thing about this is that you must never give up. Just keep doing what you're doing, you know. Yeah.
And you definitely do stick to your guns. I mean, let's all discuss your outfits at the Samas and the Metro Awards. I mean, those were really bold choices. I actually like this.
Yeah,
I thought that you were coming out.
I'm actually not sure why it caused such a stir.
No, I like it. It's South African Music Awards, and I think it really does scream South African. Why did you decide to go with this particular look?
Why I decided to go with this particular look? My mother, Usontek Pagamin, Gashembe. So, you know, we always sagging, that's my mother. See that thing on the head?
Yeah.
Tolo. She had it for, I think it's more than 5 years now. It's platted,
Are you serious?
Yeah, I pull me, you know.
That's amazing.
So we always sagging, you know what I mean, on the TV. And I know she sits sometimes and asks herself, you know what I mean, wow, the guys look good in church. I wonder how my son would look, you know what I mean, in this uniform, because he's out there making music, you know what I mean. There's never time for me the way it's supposed to be, you know what I mean, because kunemthetho esontweni kakhulu okumele uyigcine, you understand. So that's why I chose to wear that.
Because looked at me and said, "Do you understand?"
I know. Don't you love it?
I do.
You were on point.
Because I wanted to surprise her. I called her. I told her I've got a surprise for you. And then when she saw this, she was happy. You know what I mean? Because no one has ever actually worn something like this. And for me, it does have fashion in it. You know what I mean?
It's very fashionable. But then what happened at the Metro Awards?
Yeah. Sorry?
But then what happens at the Metro Awards?
Oh, at the Metro Awards.
I'm joking.
Okay.
I mean, it's a look.
Let me break it down for you.
This is you and MT now.
Yes,
at
this
the
is
back,
me.
just fooling. Were you fooling
We had
around?
MT on the show.
No,
He's amazing.
it's culture. It's culture, you know what I mean? Because I don't know if you can be able to go back so that I can explain it fully for you.
Okay.
People think that we planned, you know, MT, this is how we're going to dress. We never planned it. Sahlangana the carpet. The reason why I was dressed like this, because my mother was selling food at the taxi rank. She just resigned. Now because she's old. But for the past 25 years, she's been at the taxi rank selling food. So, Abu Malume, this is how they dress up, you understand, the white omegas, I print to the leather, you understand. So, being representable, and they were happy after the awards. I took the Metro, went to show them at the taxi rank. They've never seen it before, they've never touched it before. They don't know anybody that has it. So now they were happy with Mshan. You never forgot about us.
Well, we love your vibes, so thank you so much for coming, and we cannot wait to see you perform.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be cool,
so
and I promise I'll learn more words for when you're back.
Every bottle crammed full of goodness.
Now, for South Africans, braaiing is more than just a Saturday activity. It's a local institution, a tradition and a big part of our proudly South African culture. And with Heritage Day right around the corner, it serves as the perfect opportunity to gather around a fire with friends, family, and a firm household favorite, all gold.
We all know South Africa is a rich and vibrant country. From our 11 official languages to the meals you and I love the most, Bobotie, Magwinya, the list goes on. The 24th of September marks Heritage Day, and the best way to celebrate is with a braai with friends. JP, what is it about the braai that just tends to bring people together?
I don't know, I think it's that experience that we all grew up with. It is the food, it is the company, it is the friends that you haven't seen in a while, and just getting together and having a good old party, so to speak.
In your personal opinion, what do you think it is? Is it the food, is it the venue, or is it the company that makes braaiing so awesome?
For me, being the person in my friend group that eats the most is probably the food, but I'd say it's a combination of the three. A lack of venue, good food, and good company always goes down well.
In your establishment here, I mean, have you seen braaiing just unite people from all walks of life?
Pretty much. Braais bring people together, so we have people from all corners of the world, all genders, all races, all colors and creed, and everybody walks in wanting a braai, and everybody walks out with a smile on their face.
Chops, vors, ribs and wings, and that all-important appetite-inducing smell of smoke. It's only natural that we refer to it in its different forms, shisanyama, bukosa, and that all-important braai. But when that chop hits that fire, we all speak the same language, so let's stop talking. Let's get braaiing. Albert is the braai master here. What are your top 3 tips when it comes to making the perfect braai?
As a braai master, I recommend if you're cooking your meat, mostly use the gas. But don't use mainly the gas, use the stones, the volcanic stones. Because when you put the gas, you heat up the stones. Then the heat from the stones and the flame that comes from the stones is what makes the meat to be a chisanyama. My second tip is basting before, so that you can have a flavor. My third tip is believe in your meat. As a good braai master, always know his meat when it's ready. Then you can have your meat. It will be ready to be served.
our meat is definitely in safe hands, and that means main course is done and dusted. What I'm learning so much is that braaiing is so deeply entrenched in our history. It goes way back, almost like all gold. From their origins in 1908, they're going to make the perfect complements to today's mains.
My fondest braai memories growing up is definitely in Buffalo Bay near Knysna, where I grew up. Me and my friends, every single December, we would get together and have a braai. We would, throughout the whole December, we would just braai every couple days, every couple nights. And one of the definite constants is always having all gold there.
Sunday afternoons with family, braai with friends, Saturdays.
It's always nice to have friends around, families around, because sometimes when we are a family, you don't see each other like very often. So braai brings the family together.
So one thing I've always noticed is you get a boerewors roll and then you get a boerewors roll. And my secret recipe is to use all gold's braai relish. It comes like this, and you can either heat it up or have it cold. One of my favorite things to do, however, this is my tip, don't tell anyone else that I gave you this information, is to eat it room temperature. It's like the perfect mixture of the hot and the cold, and the flavors are delicious.
I never braai without my original all gold.
It can be used everywhere. It's in the braai, it's in everyone's cupboard at home.
All gold is just South African. Like I can't remember a time when there wasn't all gold at the table. So I think it's just part of the family at this point.
I think what makes all gold South Africans' favorite is because it's thick, it's strong, it tastes real good.
What I enjoyed about today's braai was everything, hanging out with my friends, great lunch, everything.
Today I really enjoyed the chops with the spicy all gold sauce.
Today's braai I enjoyed a lot because I've tasted some of the all gold flavors I never tasted before. The limited edition of all gold, it tastes real good and it's full of flavor.
With 11 official languages, there's one language that every South African knows how to speak, and that's Nyama. We all love it so much, and on this Heritage Day on the 24th of September, make sure you spend some time with friends, family, and perhaps some new acquaintances. So, Robin, yum, right? Lekker!
In the spirit of Heritage Day, we're going to take you on a walk down memory lane to revisit classic South African all gold adverts. Take a look at this.
All gold tastes real good. All gold, like 100 years of cramming should. All together now. All gold tastes real good.
Oh, where'd you get that, babe?
Oh, Mum, I did.
Oh, this is gorgeous.
Open it.
Hello, Granddad. Hi, guys. Hello, Granddad. What do you want? Dad, we want
Give me some of your tomato sauce, please.
Have you seen the all gold chuck? Have you seen the chuck?
It's for you.
Tastes real good.
And that's why All Gold tastes real good. It's SA's most loved tomato sauce.
Tastes real good, like real tomato should.
Wow, so much
Remember the good old
legacy.
days when advertisers had budgets.
You know what I loved? And I remember the little boys putting the little kids putting
Into
the tomatoes
the
in the thing. Okay,
That
do you
was
wanna
my
hear,
favorite one.
Do you want to hear my all gold story?
Yeah.
You know when you've only got a little bit left, but you want to get it from the bottom
From the bottom,
to
yeah.
the top.
Yeah, yeah.
So you're supposed to put the lid on and squeeze it really tight. And then I was doing this in my kitchen.
Are you serious? No, as an adult?
As an adult. It wasn't long ago.
Oh, wow.
I didn't close it properly.
Oh, and then it was a disaster.
It's like a little red ring around my house. Now, there are only 2 million limited edition bottles, so head to the stores before they run out. All Gold is giving you a chance to be part of history. Design your own limited edition bottle on the All Gold microsite, and you could be one of the 4 lucky winners to have their online design printed on an All Gold sleeve. Visit allgold.co.za for more information. I've got to take part in that competition.
Absolutely, so much fun.
We'll be right back after this.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express on SABC3. We've got a very inspiring guest joining us on the couch. His name is Blessing. And before the break, we shared a bit of his story for the rest of you. A very hard story for a young boy to go through. From, growing up with his mother to his mom leaving, living with his uncle, being abused by his uncle, leaving his uncle to go and live in the bush at age of sort of like 6 years old, to go and learn more about life by himself in the bush. And then kind of got reunited with his mom, moved with his mom, stayed on the streets, then moved to Alexandra streets, then to prison. And then the biggest moment of his life was where the artist was born within him, and now he's internationally recognized for the work that he's doing. So, Blessing, let's pick it up from that sort of story. You were in prison, and then art found you.
Yeah, in prison, I started doing art, where at some point I became a teacher, teaching other inmates, and then in 2006 I came outside, where for me it was something that changed my life, because when I came out, I was only 5 days outside, where I came across with a friend who invited me to participate in sort of a group show in Carlton Center. That time I was doing more realistic work, where I was doing portraits of people, and that's where I found my pretty girlfriend. She liked the way I was doing my art. It
Good
was so
stuff,
funny.
my man. Good
yeah,
stuff.
But,
you never lost your charm.
Yeah, but at that time, at least I generated some cash, within that week. And then the project moved from different spaces to Central Library, where we got a week as well exhibiting there. And then we went to Deep Kloof, Soweto, where we were doing similar program. That's where the thing of teaching other people started, And then that time, of course, because of the, in life, you need to move up and up. That's why I went to Artist Proof Studio and join in and do my course as a printmaker. That's where I knew how to operate a computer or this and that, which is a part of an artist. You should know all those things. Then, yeah, I landed myself a freelancing job, you know, in some of TV production. And then, yeah, we were doing cartoons. At some point, I became a puppeteer, operator, and storyboard planner, all this and that. Then in 2012, that's where everything changed, where I applied for Reinhold Casero Award, which is honored on behalf of the Nadine Gardner, the late Nadine Gardner's husband, Reinhold.
Oh,
yeah. So when I won the award, it allowed me to stay at the Bake Factory Studios for 3 months, having transport fees, you know, food, everything was there for me. So that's where I started to dig within and dig within myself to also venture into the art world.
And so let's talk about some of those pieces, because I mean, you've expressed a lot of your pain and your suffering as a sort of youngster in these artworks, and so they've got deep meanings for you. So I'd love to see them. Let's start with the ones that are on screen at the moment.
Oh, yes. I can't even remember the title. Oh, this is the mistress of dispersed African or something. I can't recall. So it's
some elaborate artistic name,
It's a bit old pieces that I have in my life. But basically within what my expression within my work is about telling the stories that we... this is a brutality, actually. I remember this. I did this in Cleveland during my...
is that on a wall? Is it outside art, or is that an illustration?
No, it's on the canvas.
Wow.
It's on the canvas. Yeah, so brutality, it was speaking more about, because when I was there, I happened to be in one of the area where Tamaya Rice was shot, killed, you know, for no reason. A young boy just died for, you know. So I thought it was very good for me to also bring that into how the authority create wars between people, you know, because at some point it's like you don't hate the color, you hate the fact that the police killed your child, and which is kind of affecting the rest of the community.
So let's speak more about those race lines, because there was a piece of artwork that well, it's not a piece of artwork, it's a whole, like a performance piece that you had. We've got some footage of it, of an artwork that really impacted you as an individual. Tell us about this one, because this is one of my most fascinating pieces of yours.
Yeah, the piece also is driven from, because the costume, as you see, it's a self-made costume, and which the piece also speaks about my past, being imprisoned and come outside and realize that still this prison is still following me for my daily survival. Otherwise, if I can't cope, then I will end up going back to prison. But this piece specifically, it was speaking about reclaiming your land, because the piece was showcased in Sandton Center, where it's more a capitalism people, you know, like elite people, capitalist place, where the right owners of that space, they're no longer able to walk free and move free, you know. So as a cow, I still believe that it was once a farm at some point, you know. So now I came there, but at the very same time, I was not speaking only about reclaiming your land and the stuff only, but I was also using the unskinned cow head as a way to communicate about why each time we should think of color issues instead of understanding that skin is just a dust that any time can fade, you know.
So that's strip us from our skin, and then almost underneath we're all the same.
We're all the same.
We should have that communication.
So that's where that expression of saying, imagine we wake up all of us unskinned, and then you're sitting there, you unskinned, I'm sitting here unskinned. Are we gonna hate each other because we're gonna be ugly that moment, or are we gonna see us as the only way of how to deal with our own issues, regardless of dividing ourselves, you know?
So clearly your work is elaborate, it's thought out, it's brilliant, and we love it. But now not only was your work internationally recognized, you won a whole bunch of awards, but you've got some really cool clients. Samuel L. Jackson walked into your studio and was like, I'm waiting for you to finish my piece.
Yeah, it was a great moment for me to realize that at least he traveled all the way just to come and, you know, in my studio and have fun with me. We chatted, we went for dinner, and then luckily the piece that was on the wall, which is behind behind us over there, it was one of the pieces that took his heart, you know, like, oh no, this represents the African, you know, a structure
Yes.
and well built, you know, because the figure behind has so much of it's beautiful actually,
Yeah,
and
so
well detailed and well done. And then luckily, because that time I was surviving out of t-shirt printing, that was, you know, during that period where I was doing t-shirt as well. So I gave him a piece of Onda t-shirts, which was, because Onda was doing very well that time, was part of the parcel of grooming me and giving me a chance to live again and be able to buy material from the money that I was generating from that merchandise. Kind of.
Blessing, I almost feel like I'm going to tear up a little bit, because to see the person you are today with all that you've managed to experience in your life, to see the people that you've met, the artwork that you've done, the awards that you've won, the recognition you've been given from a little 6-year-old boy who was living in the bush after the kind of life that you lived as a youngster. We absolutely salute all the work that you're doing, and we can't wait to continue to celebrate journeys like yours. And I know you're working with a lot of other young kids who are in streets, giving them purpose and meaning with their lives. So please continue doing that, all right?
Yeah, thank you very much.
Sure. Blessing, you've been a blessing for us on Afternoon Express.
Thank you very much.
On Fridays, it's Winner Home on Afternoon Express, proudly brought to you by Private Property. Follow the journey of 3 competing design duos as they decorate 3 homes, 1 room at a time. You stand a chance of winning your choice of one of these 3 completed homes at the Eye of Africa Golf and Residential Estate, decorated by the design contestants in our grand prize competition. The decorated home boasts finishes by Plascon and Caesarstone, as well as premier appliances by Grundig, and it's worth 3 million rand. To enter, visit privateproperty.co.za and vote for your favorite design duo. You're also automatically entered into the bi-weekly giveaway, where the latest prize is a Guru Eurocube sink mixer, professional, valued at over 12,000 rand. Visit privateproperty.co.za and enter now.
This is your chance to win the home you've always dreamed of. SA's favorite interior design reality competition, Winner Home, sees 3 design duos transform empty spaces into lavish homes, and one of them could be yours. To enter, visit privateproperty.co.za and vote for your favorite design duo. Put yourself in line to win amazing prizes in the bi-weekly draw and automatically be entered for a chance to win the grand prize, your choice of one of 3 fully designed homes in the Eye of Africa Golf and Residential Estate in the south of Joburg. The finished property will include luxurious finishes by Plascon and Caesarstone, as well as premier home appliances by Grundig, with a total prize value of more than 3 million rand. Competition details plus T's and C's can be found on the Private Property website. Watch the breathtaking properties come to life as the design drama unfolds, and stand a chance to win the biggest prize on South African television, your very own dream home.
After the break, we've got award-winning rapper Sjava performing live. You do not want to miss this epic performance. We'll be right back.
One, two.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. We've had such an amazing show celebrating South African artists, and here to wrap it up is Sjava with Impilo. What does Impilo mean? I know it means life, but what is the meaning behind the song?
It's a song that I made about abuse. You know what I mean? Every year I always have a song, a positive song, and people think it's like a new thing, you know what I mean? So it talks about women abuse and child abuse, but then I took it all the way from a relationship, from relationship, you know what I mean? Because that's where problems start. Someone says it's over, I can't be with you anymore. Other people feel like, if I can't hear you, no one will, you know what I mean? Then there's violence and all of that, That's what it talks about. So, yo, man, stop doing that. It's not cool. It's taking us back as a country. Actually.
Absolutely. Well, take it away. Impilo, ladies and gentlemen.
Sengaze kufa umuntu ngenxa yothando ngiyaza kukholula umuntu umthanda kutshela ukuthi uthando luphelile impilo kumele iqhubeke ngiyaza kukholula umuntu umthanda kutshela ukuthi uthando luphelile sithandana kwakumnandi emhlabeni khala zome mntakama sesadlula leso nsuku sisakhula sithandana kwakumnandi emhlabeni takusekho lokho sabiphupho lokho siyancipha imshado kwandingqobo takusekho lokho kwandimncwabo ukholula umuntu umthanda kutshela ukuthi uthando luphelile impilo kumele iqhubeke ngiyaza kukholula umuntu umthanda kutshela ukuthi uthando luphelile impilo kumele iqhubeke yosiza ngani ukumkhwaza yosiza ngani ukumdubula umshise emyekele impilo kubele yokusiza ngani ukumkhwaza yokusiza ngani ukumdubula umshise emyekele impilo kubele tandiza abadala bashisa impepho emzansi biza nabafundisi bathandaze andiza abadala bashisa impepho emzansi biza nabafundisi bathandaze ngoba uma kungenjalo bazophela omama bethu bazophela otate wethu zophela ingane sewanele legazel kritekile selanele hey ngiyaza kukholula umuntu umthanda kutshela ukuthi uthando luphelile impilo kumele iqhubeke ngiyaza kukholula umuntu umthanda kutshela ukuthi uthando luphelile impilo kumele iqhubeke yokusiza ngani ukumkhwaza yokusiza ngani ukumdubula umshise emyekele impilo kubele yokusiza ngani ukumkhwaza yokusiza ngani ukumdubula umshise emyekele impilo kubele khala zoma mntakamama sezadlula lezo nsuku sakhula sithandana kwabumnandi emhlabeni manje akusekho lokho seqhuma isililo thiyancipha imshado kwandingcwabo bathi akusekho lokho seqhuma isililo thiyancipha imshado kwandingcwabo.
For joining us today. What a powerful statement. He ends it off with funerals are replacing weddings. That's his last line of the song.
Yeah, because that's what's happening.
Absolutely.
Wow. It's very sad. Yeah.
Gives you something to think
Thank
about.
you so much for being on the show.
Yeah,
and thank you so much for all of you at home joining us. To our Jewish viewers as well, Chag Sameach and happy Rosh Hashanah. Hope you have a wonderful feast tonight. And to everybody else, have a wonderful night. Good night,
We'll
God
see you
bless,
tomorrow,
and happy
same time,
eating.
same place.
Ciao.
Search for a home on any device, anytime, anywhere. Private property, a home for everyone.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.